Welcome to Geography Chapter 1, Resources and Development, Part 2. This presentation contains land resources, land use pattern in India, land degradation, its causes, and methods of conservation of land. The presentation also deals with soil as a vital resource. Land resources. Land as a resource. Land is a natural resource of utmost importance because we live on the land. We perform our daily activities on land. Not only this, it supports all kind of plant and animal life. It supports the transport and communication systems. However, the land is an asset which is of a limited magnitude. Hence, we need to use it with careful planning. Since we know that land is an asset of finite magnitude, the utilization or use of land becomes very important. Land use is a function of land. That means, what is the land being used for? The use of land in any region is determined by 1. The physical factors, which includes the topography, that means the relief of the land, climate of a region, and the type of soil present there. Apart from this, the use of land is also controlled by human factors such as the population, the number of people living in a region, the skill and technological development of the population, the cultural and traditional beliefs of the people living in that region also determine the use of land. The land resources are used for various purposes. The first and the foremost purpose among the land use is the land which is used as forest land. It is very important for maintaining the ecological balance in a region. Apart from forest, land is used for agricultural purposes, that is, for cultivation of crops and rearing of animals. The part of land which is cultivated only once in a year is known as the net sown area. Gross sown area, on the other hand, is the area which is cultivated once in an agricultural year plus the net sown area. Apart from the cultivable land, there is land which is not used for cultivation. This includes barren or wasteland, that means the land which cannot be cultivated either because it is rocky or is infertile. It also includes the land which has been put to non-agricultural uses such as the built-up area, which includes buildings, roads, factories, etc. The wasteland, or the land which is not used for cultivation, includes the cultivable wasteland. That means the land which can be cultivated but has not been cultivated since the last 5 years or more in succession. Apart from this, it also includes the fallow land. Fallow land includes the current fallow land, which is the land which has been left fallow or where the crops have not been grown so that the soil can regain the nutrient naturally by environment. Apart from that, there is other than current fallow land, which is the land that is taken up for cultivation but temporarily out of cultivation for a period of 1 year or more but less than 5 years. Not only this, the uncultivated land also includes the permanent pastures and the grazing land for the cattle, and it also includes the land which is under different kinds of tree crops. Pastures and tree crops. The land use pattern in India is determined by physical and human factors. Certain important features of the land use pattern in India are: the land that is under permanent pastures is gradually decreasing, which means that the huge cattle population in our country has to be fed either from the farm waste, that is, whatever is left after the harvesting of crop, or the fodder has to come from regions which are specially dedicated for growing the fodder. Then the pattern of net sown area varies greatly from one state to another state. For example, over 80% of the total area in Punjab and Haryana is the net sown area, whereas it is less than 10% in states like Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Another very significant feature of the land use pattern in India is that the forest area in our country is very less or lower than the desired 33% of the geographical area, which means that it is very difficult to maintain the ecological balance, the balance that is created between the physical and the biological environment. Forests form a very integral part of this ecological balance. A decrease in forest area results in ecological imbalance. The continuous use of land over a long period of time without taking the correct and appropriate measures to conserve and manage it results in degradation of land. Degradation of land is the decrease in the quality of land available in a region. Land degradation is caused by a number of factors, among which the most important are: 1. Deforestation, overgrazing by animals, mining and quarrying. Mining and quarrying sites, when they are abandoned, they leave deep scars on land. The land which was once a mining or a quarrying area cannot be used for any other purposes. In states like Punjab and Haryana, over-irrigation leads to waterlogging. Waterlogging is responsible for increasing the salinity of soil, which results in decrease in soil quality. Industrial processes like grinding of limestone, especially for the cement industry or for the ceramic industry, results in generating huge amount of dust. This dust settles on the land and it retards or slows down the process of infiltration of water into the soil. That means it slows down the process of percolation of water into the soil. Then the industrial effluents, without being treated, are thrown on the land, which are responsible for polluting the land. Nonetheless, the problem of land degradation can be solved by adopting the following different measures. The first and the foremost being planting more and more trees, that is afforestation. Second is proper management of grazing. The animals should not be left to overgraze the pasture lands. Planting of shelter belts is another way of solving the problem of land degradation as well as controlling soil erosion. Rows of trees are planted which are called shelter belts in order to control the wind flow and the flow of water, which can then cause soil erosion. Apart from this, planting of trees should be encouraged to stabilize the sand dunes. Proper management of wastelands, which includes using up the wastelands for built-up area rather than using cultivable area to build up factories and buildings. Mining activities should be conducted in a way where they do not harm the land and the soil resources. Industrial effluents or waste should be dumped on the land or released in water only after proper treatment. Soil as a resource. The uppermost layer of land is the soil. Soil is very important renewable natural resource. It is the medium of plant growth and also supports different types of living organisms. Soil is formed over millions and millions of years. The factors which are responsible for soil formation include the relief, parent or the bedrock, climate, vegetation, and the time taken to form the soil. Various forces of nature such as the change in temperature, actions of running water, wind, glaciers, and activities of decomposers contribute towards formation of soil. Not only this, the chemical and organic changes which take place in the soil are also equally important. Soil also consists of organic and inorganic matter. India is a land of varied relief, landform, climate and vegetation types. All these have contributed in development of various soil types in India. Among these, the 6 major types of soils are 1. The alluvial soil, the red soil, the black soil, laterite soil, desert soil, and the mountain soil. Alluvial soil. This is the most widely spread and important soil in India. These soils have been formed by deposition of alluvium brought down by rivers originating in the Himalayas and in the peninsular region. The entire northern plains are made up of alluvial soil. The alluvial soil consists of various proportions of sand, silt and clay. These soils are coarser, that means the particles are thicker in the foothills of Himalayas, or the regions which are known as the Piedmont Plains. The foothills are also called the Piedmont Plains. As we move away from these foothills, downstream we find that the alluvial soils are much finer. The alluvial soil are further classified into two parts, the Khadar and the Bhangar soil. The regions where we find old alluvial deposits, we call it the Bhangar soil, and where there is new alluvial deposits, it is called the Khadar soil. The soils are rich in potash and humus. They are very fertile and are used for growing all kinds of crops. The second important type of soil is the black soil, which are also called the Regar or the black cotton soil, because they are very good for cultivation of cotton. Black soils consist of very fine clay particles. That means the soil particles are very small. They have a capacity to hold moisture for a long time. The soils develop very deep cracks during the summer season. These deep cracks help in aeration of soil. That means they help in passing off the air into the soil. The soil becomes sticky as soon as it rains. Therefore, they have to be tilled, they have to be cultivated immediately after the rain. These soils are formed due to disintegration or weathering of the volcanic rocks. They are very rich in potash, calcium carbonate, magnesium and lime. Apart from alluvial and black soil, we also have red and yellow soil. Red soil develops on crystalline igneous rocks in regions where the rainfall is low. They are found in parts of Orissa, Chhattisgarh, southern and middle parts of Ganga Plain, and on the Piedmont zone of the Western Ghats. The soils develop a reddish color due to diffusion of iron. They look yellow when they are in a hydrated form. That means they appear yellow in color when they are wet. Next is the laterite soil. The word laterite means brick in Latin. Laterite soils are found in areas where there is high temperature and heavy rainfall. They are formed due to intensive leaching of soil. Leaching of soil means removal of nutrient from the soil due to high rainfall. These soils are poor in humus content. They are crystalline, less fertile, and support only grasses. Arid soil. Arid soils range from red to brown in color. They are sandy in texture. That means the soil particles are bigger and thicker. They are saline in nature. That means they are salty. They are salty because the soils are found in regions of high temperature, which results in excessive evaporation from the soil, leaving behind the salt content. The lower horizon of the soil, that means the lower layers of the soil, are occupied by conker, because that is calcium content downwards in the soil is very high. Conker layer formation in the bottom horizon restrict the infiltration of water. After proper irrigation, these soils can also become cultivable, just as it has happened in the regions of western Rajasthan. Forest soils are mostly found in hilly and mountainous areas. Therefore, forest soils are also referred to as mountainous soils. The texture that means the thickness of the soil, varies according to the height and the environment where they are formed. These soils are loamy and silty on the valley sides, and they are coarse, that means thicker, in the upper slopes. In the snow-covered regions of the Himalayas, these soils are acidic with very low humus content. The soils found in the lower parts of the valleys are fertile and can be used for growing different types of crops. Soil erosion and conservation of soil. The removal of the top fertile layer of soil either by running water, wind or ice is called soil erosion. Soil erosion is caused due to a number of human activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction, mining, etc. Soil erosion could be in the form of gully erosion. Gully erosion is when running water cuts deep into the clay soil, making channels. The land thus becomes unsuitable for cultivation and is called bad land. Sometimes soil erosion can take place as sheet erosion. Sheet erosion is removal of soil over a large area. In such cases, the topsoil gets washed away or is blown away by wind. Soil can be conserved either by adopting contour plowing. Contour plowing is adopted to decelerate, that means to control the flow of water down the slope. Also, soil can be conserved by practicing agricultural practices like terrace cultivation, in which flat lands are created on a mountain slope to restrict the flow of water. Also, large fields can be divided into strips. Strips of grass can be left to grow between the crops. This breaks up the force of wind. This method of conserving soil is called strip cropping. Rows of trees can also be planted to control the flow of wind and the water. These rows of trees are called the shelter belt.